of a sudden it's tomorrow and I'm back working on the truck, so I'm going to start by sanding this down, and then I'll start mixing up my Bondo. This is really ugly and dented up, so I still wasn't really able to pull too many of the dents out of here, and that's where the Bondo is going to come in to help smooth it out a little bit. Like I said in the last video, it probably would have been much easier to just replace the whole fender, but I didn't really want to fork out that kind of money on this thing. And now we get to save the original fender. Now I'm going to wipe it down with some acetone now. Just really lightly, especially with the spray paint that I put on here. Now that looks just about the right amount of nasty. Alright, so I got my Bondo mixed up here. Let's see how this goes. Always a little bit nervous about doing this. This one's going to be pretty hard because it has a lot more angles than what I've done before. The other stuff on the truck was fairly easy. It was usually just one, maybe two angles at a time kind of thing. And of course this is a bit of a race too, trying to beat the Bondo before it dries. I wonder if I'll have better results going like this. Yeah, I think that's more smooth. Friggin' mosquitoes are bad this year. Okay, let's see. This had a lot of low spots. I must have had some issues with heat when I was welding because it started out fairly flat. Didn't stay like that for long. And this might look fairly thick, but once I'm done sanding it, what remains won't be that thick, so should be fairly thin. And then it does get to a point where if you mess with it too much, you'll wreck what's underneath as it's drying. So I'm kind of starting to fight that already, unfortunately. I'm really trying to see where I've already gone before. And I will have a lot of sanding to do, but the more finish work that I do now, the more it'll save me sanding later. I'll try and see what I can do about this dent here, but I think that'll just fall out. I don't have high hopes for this dent. Plus the bumper's going to cover that up anyways. It won't be so much of an eyesore. Okay, I think that's better, and then I'll just try the same tactic over here as well. Again, this is not a proper way to do this, but it's going to be covered up by the bumper. And I'll just try the same thing with this dent up here, but I'm not expecting anything, especially putting the Bondo right on top of that sticker. That's pretty dumb, so we'll see if that'll stick good enough, but I think it's just going to fall out once it dries. So now that the Bondo's, it's not tacky anymore, it's still a tiny bit sticky on the surface, but it's better. So now I can start to take a fresh sheet of 100 grit paper, and I can start to block sand this, and ideally your block sander should be a little bit longer. This is just what I've been using. And when it's drying like this, it really takes off those high spots fast, which is really nice. Alright, time for some high build primer here. I'm really hoping that I don't overdo it and get some runs in it like I usually do, because that sucks. It already looks 10 times better. Yeah, so most of this is going to be covered up by the bumper. You can see where there's like a little bit of a high spot there. There's a high spot over there. It doesn't quite match the other side as nicely. Like that side's nice and smooth, but it also wasn't bashed into with the stump. So, you know. Now while the primer is drying, I'm going to hit it with my Duplicolor Not So Perfect Match. So there's definitely imperfections that you can see in here, and that's all right for me for now. Like, if I was going to keep this truck and do a proper restoration, I would spend hours and hours more redoing it the right way. I'm just going to be selling this one, and it's already, like, the engine is good, the drivetrain is good, the frame is really good. I just took a nick of paint out of there, great. But other than that, like, the body is just kind of beat up, and somebody 4x4'd it, and it would take a lot to get it a 10 out of 10, so this is just going to be good enough. All right, so I got the side of the box here all paint matched for now, and next is going to be cleaning up where the old trim came off and putting the new trim on. So I still have a little bit of rust to take care of here and up there. And over here, what started out to be a small defect turned into a gigantic hole, so that's going to have to get fixed probably tomorrow.